Diploma in Procurement Supply. We will start today book 1. This book 1 is an introduction and it has a lot of topics. We'll start our discussion with procurement in the private sector. Already we are noticing that supply chain management has become really important after certain events in the world, especially a tsunami in Japan. The world has realized that they should have alternative sources of supplies if we are dependent on one source and there is no plan B. So our production and whole process of the organization can be at risk, and we can lose profitability and we will lose the customer satisfactions as well. So procurement has become really important, and supply chain management is becoming important. It is becoming indispensable. So we will define and classify the organizations: private sector's organization, public sector, and we see how multinational companies look into procurement and supply chain. We will see what are the objectives of the private sector organization, regulations related to private sector, the role of procurement and supply, third sector organizations, key features of the third sector procurement. This is we will discuss in chapter 1. There are two big sector, private and public. So public sector is also very important. It's a larger sector and it is more stringent in the rules and regulations, especially when it comes to procurement of oil and gas. Environmental health safety concerns increase, and the components of material and hygiene factors and other things become more and more stringent. So we'll see how we define the public sector, impact of economic sector on procurement, what are the responsibilities of the public sector procurements, regulations, and what is the role of supply and procurement. This is what we are going to discuss in the chapter 2. In chapter 3, we will see the type of comparative markets. So in economics, we study certain type of markets. We say there is a market in which there is one sole producer, that is called monopoly. We have a group of monopolies, that is the oligopoly. We make clusters. We have perfect competition. We have monopolistic competition. What are these terms? I will explain you. And we'll see that monopoly, monopolistic, and perfect competition, oligopoly, and impact on market in terms of competition, and how to see the international market in terms of procurement and supply chain. This is the pure economics, and we will see how it affects the practical organizations. Any economy is based on demand and supply. So if there is more demand, of course we have to keep more cushion for the supplies, and demand and supply move together, and it has a great connection with the price, because in general when the price goes up, supply goes down, supply goes up and demand goes down. So we have to see what is the economic condition, how the equilibrium is being calculated, a degree of responsiveness. We see the elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply, and we will see that how it is going to handle the product life cycle, which has the concept stage, introduction stage, growth stage, and then a maturity stage, and comes to decline. So how the cycle and different components we have to understand in order to manage an effective supply chain in our organizations. Internal planning is important, and of course external planning is very important. External situation will affect your internal plannings. So we will see the external environment of procurement, that what is purchasing environment, why to analyze the purchasing. Then we will do the steeple framework, so the tools of analysis. We'll see what are the general economic condition, political structure, legal atmospheres, and pastel analysis we are going to do. In terms of economic factors which are very important, we'll see what is the national economy, business cycle, international economies, exchange rates, economies of international sources. So we want to see the GDP, gross domestic products, goods and services produced in one country, and we will see that what is the general economic condition. The economy is growing, it's in recession, it's in boom. So based on that, we will have a planning in terms of our procurements. Political factors are really important. Some countries, they are suffering from political instability. Some countries, they have a political stability and a system of governance. So both will be handled in different ways. Political environment, local politics, national politics, policy and funding, and how the policies affect this is very important to handle the international procurement, decision to enter in the market, decision to expand, investments. These all are really important to understand. We will discuss the legal factors in one chapter. So sources of English law, contracts. So a good procurement officer, manager, or a director is the one who understands the procurement contracts, like how to give offer, how to accept the offer, what will be the consideration, what will be the price, what terms and conditions has to be included, what will be the expulsion clauses, what should be the terms and conditions. This is all is very important to understand. So what is a comprehensive contract, how it works, and how what factors are really important to understand for a procurement department and officers and different designations. This is I am going to explain. So we'll see contracts and the sale of good, employment law, equal opportunity law, health and safety at work is really important nowadays, and we'll see other law affecting the purchasing and supply chain mechanisms. It will enlighten us technically, and we will get a lot of knowledge about it. Environmental factors has become really important. We are talking about green friendly, we are talking about global warming. These issues are really important. So the way we procure, the way our supplier is going to start the process, this is really important. What components we are using, what will be the level of carbons, this is all our major concerns. So we will see what is the natural environment, current environmental concerns, pressure for the environmental responsibility, what policy we should make, and the contribution as a green business, how green friendly procurement department you are, what kind of supplier, what will be the philosophy of such supplier, are they really concerned about the environment? This is what we have to discuss in this book and in this chapter. Social and ethical factors are really important. You have to know that which culture you are, what is the proposition, what religion, what culture, what are their acceptable norms. That's the way you have to place your policies. So we'll see the cultural factor, demographic, socio-economic factors. We'll see how responsible we are in terms of CSR. CSR is becoming really important, this corporate social responsibility. How responsible organization you are, how much beneficial you are for the economy. This is we have to understand, and what are our ethical standard practices, benchmarking, socio-cultural factors in international supply. This is one of the very important chapters that we have in this book. Technological advancements are really important. What is the speed of internet? What is the technology? How many machines? Perfection, total quality management. These all concepts are really important and latest. What technology you use in your supplies, and what is our procurement policy related to it. So we'll see what is the technological environment development and ICT, e-sourcing, e-procurement. Nowadays, we are talking about electronic procurement, electronic tendering, electronic quotations. It is hassle-free. It can take a speedy. We can have a speedy look. It can be having a trail in history, and it is cost-effective as well. And the system can define certain rules and regulations, so it will have a segregation of duties and a proper effective control. This is what we will discuss in technological factors. These are a few chapters related to book 1, and we'll take a short break and we'll start our discussion in detail.